Thank you. Before I open it up to Q&A from the audience, I have one question I'd like to ask the students, especially learning that none of them majored in banking. How has participating in the community bank case study competition impacted your views on banks and the financial services sector more generally?
You want to just go down the line?
Yep. So for me, I guess, I don't know how helpful this is going to be to everyone here, but for me, it just put banking on the radar for me. Like I said, I'm working in AML, BSA work now, which I would have never considered before this. So I guess maybe the takeaway for you would be to really try to get a presence on college campuses and let them know that banking is not just, sitting in the corner of a room staring at a screen all day. There's a little bit more to it than that, and it can be exciting at times. So, yeah.
Yeah, and I think this competition kind of opened the eyes to community banks. Sometimes I think many people, they're an afterthought, but going through the process, interviewing executives, I think there's a lot to it and a big impact on the community. And I think it's something that they do have a big role in their market and their region, and it's something that they really need to stabilize some of these areas.
For me, I grew up hearing that middle America and middle class people are the backbone of the economy, and while I think that's true, this really breathed life into the idea that community banks and businesses that have a strong presence in local communities can really make a difference in the lives of citizens and the lives of the people in their area. And I don't think that would have quite had the same life to me without this experience.
Being from like a media production background, coming into your guys' world of banking, it's definitely humanized it for me. Speaking to the great people over at People's Bank, made me realize that it's not just looking at a screen. It's talking to real people who make really good decisions based off of their communities and the economy, and finding ways to give back to the community as well is something that I never would have thought a bank would have done from my perspective, from my world. But yeah, from this competition, it's definitely taught me a lot.
Okay, I'd like to open it up for questions from the audience. We have a few minutes for that. You could ask the students, faculty advisor Dr. B, or Mr. Solariski. Mike Stevens.
So, Chuck, appreciate you opening up your bank and participating in this process. I wonder if you could talk some about the impact that participating in this has had on your institution.
Well, I think that anytime you can get curious people asking questions and making you think about things in ways that you haven't thought about it before, it's a win. We have an interest, they mentioned winning a local case competition that we run. We have 16 schools that we work with, and we're trying to buy talent. Our interest in the case study, the one that we run and this one, is to get one of these folks to work with us, and I've been unsuccessful with 4 sales, so but I'm not done, so we'll see. But I mean, if you get introduction to smart people, and we've been very, very successful at bringing people from Cleveland, Columbus, Cincinnati, places that you might think are more typical, where young people would like to work, into a town like Marietta, Ohio, and it's helped our company grow.
Other questions? Yes, Jan?
Good afternoon, Jan Owen from California. So you guys didn't know anything or want to be any bankers. What about bank regulators? Number 1 and number 2, can I see resumes to come? But the first question is serious. I mean, what did you learn from being in an institution and learning about it, and about bank regulators and our mission and what we do?
So I guess after the competition, we were able to meet with Kevin Allard, who's the superintendent of a portion of the DOC. I don't remember which exact portion in Ohio. And so he was able to really share a lot with us that we said, wow, we wish we would have known this beforehand. And I can tell you that after I graduated, I applied to be a state examiner. It, again, just was something that came on my radar that wasn't before.
You didn't in California, honey.
Note taken. Note taken. Something to do later tonight. Okay.
Yeah, I think it was great because these two are finance, and then I'm economics. We got a video production assistant here, and then Dr. B. So with obviously a wealth of knowledge. So I think it was a lot to kind of for me to expand into their backgrounds, them expand into my background, and him interact with us too. And then also these areas were new for each other to try to work together as a group, but then also succession planning was completely new to us and something that we all kind of, as one, had to develop all these resources and kind of start from a ground level and try to build up to be able to talk about it for a 10-minute video or write a 25-page paper and go in depth about it. So yeah, I think just building a ground level knowledge from the start of the competition when we started in February to when we found out in May.
I think to that point, for a lot of us, this was a very rigorous process. For all of us, it was a very rigorous process. And I think coming into this, we sort of had this idea, well, this is a case study, we're going to write a paper, we're going to produce a video, and that was about as much thought as we gave. Then as we continued into the process, and Dr. B really pushed us to be the best version of ourselves in all of this, it really challenged us to grow as individuals, to grow as professionals, and to really improve on what we were learning. And obviously not coming from a banking background, it was a little more strenuous than we had expected. So,
I guess from my perspective, learning and doing this bank study with these fine people, it's definitely opened my view for my portion of my studies and how I can think of media production in more of a business sense and how I can relate my business towards how we started conducting the case study. And just being able to do like succession planning, things like that that I would have never put some thought into beforehand. It's really definitely helped with my business as well.
I have 30 seconds. Let me just stop there with the questions so I can maintain our time schedule and let you know the students will be at the reception tonight. They'll be there and look forward to all of your questions for one-on-one time. You can ask them in groups. They'll be there tonight. I think they'll be here tomorrow as well, so you can do that with them. I did want to mention the 2018 Community Bank Case Study Competition is already underway. This year, students will study how community banks are engaging with financial technology, more specifically, how institutions are utilizing technology to meet customers' needs and streamline internal processes. So statements of interest are due for academic advisors by November 20th. Full student teams and partners need to be announced by February 5th. And we look forward to another successful year of this. So if you're interested in more information, you can go to CSBS's website, csbs.org/bank case study. And let's hear it again for the University of Akron.